Uh, my name is Osama Manzar. I run an organization called Digital Empowerment Foundation. We have been into this area of mobile as a learner for the last 4 or 5 years and have been able to understand a little bit of role of mobile in rural areas, in the areas where there are remote connectivity or no connectivity, and especially how not-for-profit organizations are using mobile for impact in a very unorganized manner, and it is also learning that telcos and others are not reaching much in the rural areas or deeper areas. And that perhaps was the basis of getting together and trying to find out how mobile is playing a role in our life, especially in the social and behavior change. In fact, I got to know the definition of social behavior change through Alka only, so it relates to more with family and women and children and, how it linked with the education. So 2 days before, we were just sitting and trying to jot down everything that mobile does today. And this is the list that, we could come out. And this list is also there in a chart. And I would encourage every one of you, you must have realized that this is a consultative meeting, this is a workshop kind of meeting, this is not like conference or, mono lecture based or thing. That is the reason you will see in the white paper also there are lots of note pages, so you keep on putting down as whatever you think over a period of today and tomorrow, and keep jotting down and hand it over back to us, and you have a separate copy for yourself to take if you want. That's also we have made arrangement for an extra copy of a draft white paper for you to take. So these are the list of things that we have come out. If you read it, it's an internet, it's a social media, it's a Facebook, it's Google, it's email, it's calendar, it's a clock, it's a camera, it's a TV, it's a video, it's a barometer, it's a newspaper, it's SMS, it's MMS, it's writing pad. It's a torch for many. It's an alert system. It's a receiver of a phone. It's a caller, and so on and so forth. And I'm sure there are many things that we may not be able to write down here. But this is just not a list. If you go deeper into it, this really relates to life. How we are using mobile is also so close to your life that you get up in the morning, the first thing that you touch is mobile today, rather than asking your, children or wife on the side that, did you had a good sleep or not. This is so much closer to our entire, approach towards life that it has become almost unattachable technological, communication, or behavioral tool in our life. Lots of this we would discuss in the next 2 days, and that I just wanted to highlight, and this is opening up that this is a short list, I would say. If you can make it longer, that will be really, really good. That's one thing that I wanted to show you. The second thing also, Alka wanted me to show you is how are we seeing mobile, in the next 2 days, how we are going to understand it, is that, the role of telcos at the bottom of the pyramid, because the telcos are the most connected infrastructure in the country, and how the government policies are making the mobile, understood in their schemes, in their planning, in their approach. And then how does it connect? So connectivity in this case and access are two different things. These are not two same things. Connectivity is one that it connects you to different people and different work. But access is that it's a device that has given a chance to you to access opportunities, access jobs, access information which can empower you. So that's very, very important, because information is the biggest empowering tool today for the grassroots people, for the people, what you call as the 500 to 600 million people at the bottom of the pyramid. And how at the moment it is being played. We know that mobile VAS or non-VAS basis kind of usage, and what are the content that is playing. We have Milind here who will talk in noon about how content are being played, but we looked at all the content available across the country on mobile for various sectors, and we found the least ones available which relate to the grassroots people. Most of the VAS, value-added service-based content, we realize that is targeting the metro people, So it also relates to the culture of the usage of mobile. Unless mobile becomes your cultural adaptability, the market is not going to address you to provide content or services. That's what our learning is. So it first sees that how much it is close to you, and then it start pushing the content accordingly. Because the risk of providing the content on the chance that whether it can be adopted or not is not where the companies and the corporates try to put in their hand. They first want to see that how it can be taken. That's the reason why jingles and entertainment and songs have more taken shape into the mobile than anything else. The other small graph that we have is this one, which is basically the crux of our discussion in the next 2 days. Thank you. And the second is how it is helping in monitoring and tracking. For example, the very famous the tracking application that we have is from UP of midday meal tracking, which has become quite a phenomena, and more states are trying to adopt it. One of the suggestions that I have been giving for a long time, I don't know when it will get implemented, is that when we talk about education, we always think of giving free laptops and connectivity and so on and so forth, but we never think to give an Android-based GPS-enabled mobile to a teacher who can just enter the class and click a button and post it so that it shows that you are present in the class, and when you get out of the class, click another button and you are getting out of the class. So your location is recorded, your photo is gone into the thing, which itself will make another 60-70% of the teachers or the schools who are not functional, teacher do not go to the class, and how that can be taking place, rather than thinking all the time that the quality of education or the quantity of education and the presence of the children or something, because 7 million teachers are much more easier to manage and give mobile and track them where they are at any point of time than the children and the school per se. So that's monitoring and tracking from the governance perspective, from the performance perspective, and what the government has given the schemes, that whether it is being delivered or not. Manrega, which is MNREGA, is another one which is using a lot of mobile, even by the people, to track whether the work is being done or not on a grassroots level. We have another interpersonal communication, very simple to understand, but that is where the behavioral change is maximum being looked at. And the last is how frontline workers are being trained or capacitated, and can the mobile be used in those areas. These are the 4 areas we have found out that it is important to define social and behavior change, and accordingly there are 3 presentations in each of these areas, with whom we look forward to working together in the long time to come, and we will learn from them in the next 2-3 days in terms of scaling up, in terms of challenges, in terms of reach, in terms of adaptability and so on. And then lastly, I would like to share one slide which is the crux of all the slide, which gives you basically a scenario of what this country is in terms of connectivity culture. We all talk about Facebook, we all talk about culture of connectivity, internet, as if that it is our life, but these are the numbers that that gives you an overall picture before we start next 2 days of discussion, that where we are in terms of connectivity, and where are the areas where we should target in terms of connectivity and targeting the constituencies. If you look at the left hand side, you see that these are the areas which are basically giving you the number, but these are all disconnected areas. But they are really the representation of our rural areas or the masses of the country. We have so many, 250,000 panchayat, we have 3 million elected members, mostly disconnected, digitally illiterate, but they all have, maximum of these people will have mobile. So that's very, very important common factor that we can look at. With all these so-called disconnected people have one connectivity tool that connects all of us, and how we can take advantage to that. In the commercial area, the small clusters of businesses, they represent about 60 million people in the country, and how those people can be targeted. NGOs, again, most of you presenters in the next 2 days are the NGOs who are using mobile as an impact tool. We ourselves represent about 10 million people. How we are enabled with, are we using this tool in an effective manner? In the education area, as I told you, about 7 million teachers, 1.4 million schools, but hardly you will see a role of a mobile in terms of monitoring or tracking or finding out the presence of the children or the teachers in the classroom. And that can be a very good tool. In health areas, which is, look at the numbers, Anganwadis, there are about 100,000 Anganwadis represented by 1.8 million ASHA workers. And most of the ASHA workers would have mobile, I'm 100% sure. They are the educated link in the rural areas. And they all relate to health, and we can take advantage of that. But if we need to target that, we need to look at them from the right side of the chart. That how do we target? Which are these blocks? What are the points of linkages to all these masses who live at the 600 million or 700 million or 500 million grassroots people? How are they linked to the country, whom we are either unable to reach? If we are reaching out, we are not being effective in the last 60 years. And these are all the things that I have been able to find out, that the way we can link to them and work in terms of lesser number, higher impact. I mean, there is no point talking 600 million. It's easier to talk about 3 million panchayat members or 1.8 million ASHA workers or 6,000 blocks or 250,000 panchayat or 150,000, 150,000 post offices. These are the points which all lie in rural areas, and those are the points from where we can connect with these masses about whom we are going to talk in the next 2 days. And women, 225 million women are connected through mobile in this country, but we have no data about their behavior, how do they use it, how effectively we can connect with them. But certainly 225 million women 5 years back, 10 years back, or even few years back, did not have any tool like this who can be used to get information or disseminate information. Is a very powerful message that we get, that we can reach out to 225 million women in some way or the other to make them more and more empowered, healthier, literate, more informed, and so on and so forth. So I will leave the group for having this information at the back of our mind in the next 2 days. I forgot to mention one more thing. When I saw Ram, I realized that we also have community radio as one of the tools in the rural areas. And mobile is becoming a tool as a community radio also, and it is strengthening radios because of being available all the time to do a phone in and phone out calls and make it more interactive. And it's foolish of me to have left. We have about 140 mobile community radio stations across the country. That means 140 areas multiplied by 10 kilometers of radius are covered by them. And therefore, if you integrate with mobile, it is such a powerful way of communication, and it's a two-way communication. So thank you very much for listening to me, and we will take this more as a backgrounder, and we will take the discussion forward. Thank you very much.